Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 4 in this series between LiquidZenio versus EmipreKas here on Antigua Shipyard. We see Kaz spawning as the blue Terran player here at the 11 o'clock position. Meanwhile, LiquidZenio spawning as the red Zerg here at the 9 o'clock position. Yes, this is game 4 in the series. It wasn't just a best of 3. For you guys who do watch my channel regularly, I just didn't have enough time to encode that many videos yesterday. I think it was close to an hour and a half of footage. And I ended up uploading like over 2 gigabytes of information and the encoding. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this now. Now, currently Kaz, spoiler alert, has a 2-to-1 advantage in this series. We'll see what's going to happen now as Kaz pretty much setting up that front door off over here. Now, front door being built by Kaz, nothing too strange about that. We've seen him do that consistently. And now we see Zeno getting up that Overlord, not sacrificing his economy. Instead, just training up drones. And we'll see if he goes for a spawning pool first or if he goes for a hatchery first. My prediction will be hatchery first, as Zeno has felt fairly safe and confident in that build. Following that, we have seen him go extractor pool and pool extractor. We'll see what the strategies will be as an Overlord now going to get in position, and it will spot, I believe, that barracks as it's being built. But will the barracks spot the Overlord? That is the question. Overlord now making its way in. Is it going to spot it? Yes, it does. And Kaz does not see. Is the Overlord going to turn around? No, it is not. So Kaz is actually Zeno has actually revealed himself to where Kaz is at this time. And now this Overlord needs to get the heck out of there. A Marine will be coming out. Overlords have no armor. Natural regeneration will keep it in the air for a little while longer, as Zeno has revealed to Kaz where he has spawned. Now, these spawning locations are perhaps one of the best locations for Zeno, just because he knows that his third base will be expanding away from his opponent. It will be harder to hit from this side of destructible rocks, as you either need to pass across the Zelnaga Tower or go all the way around, meaning that Overlords can and will spot you. A Reaper now being trained. Very, very standard here, as Zeno perhaps going to back off just a little bit. He wants to make sure that a Reaper is being trained and not a Marine. If it was a Marine, Zeno may end up being supply blocked, as we now see Zeno very specifically and purposely keeping track of this front door. He wants to know what's going to be coming out as Reapers are now making their way out. We are going to see a Reaper expansion coming in as the Overlord now makes its way to the command center here. I believe the Reaper was scouted out by Zeno, and we are now going into Queens. Queens do take quite a bit of time to train, 50 seconds. An Overlord now making its way as a Reaper going to perhaps try to jump up this cliff. Drones are now making their way down here. It looks like a spine crawler should be added sometime soon, as the Reaper just going to test the front door. Zerglings are now making their way down. Metabolic boost not yet quite done. And now in comes the Reaper. The Reaper going to fight the Zerglings on creep, but the Zerglings are going to be able to get some easy shots there. The Zerglings are now chasing that Reaper. The Reaper taking a lot of damage, but the Reaper is also finishing off many of those Zerglings, and now still has 10 hit points. A Queen will be coming out though, and where is one D8 charge, something that Reapers will lose after Wings of Liberty. But then again, this Reaper will start to regenerate hit points if it was Wings of Liberty. Oh, a nice slash there. That Reaper is going to be forced to retreat, as we now see one Reaper on the high ground. Harvester count showing 24 drones to 21. The Kaz has dealt a little bit of damage, as he did take down a couple Zerglings. Currently, there are no Zerglings on the field, which means that there is absolutely no map control. You can also see Kaz being very aggressive with his expansions, expanding and getting up another command center here. It will be able to lift off and either take this expansion location or perhaps the gold. We'll see what his strategy will be. I don't see an engineering bay though, and without an engineering bay, that means no planetary fortress, which means that most likely he will be trying to take this expansion, which will be expanding into his opponent. Reapers now making their way in. There is a Queen in position, a spine crawler also being added. Oh, the Queen trying to chase away. There are some Zerglings as well. The Zerglings do have that metabolic boost, which is important. Overlord will spot and keep track of where these Reapers are going all around at this time, as we see now Kaz running back off to the north. Zerglings making a move over here, and they may catch these Reapers. The Reapers, are they going to turn around? Yes, one Reaper in trouble. Down goes one Reaper. The Reaper needs to be careful, going to jump up to the high ground, and then realize that the Zergling doesn't want to chase him, and all this Reaper can do is sit there with very minimal sight and say hi to an Overlord. Zergling was trying to slip by, unable to do so, as we are getting the blue flame tech and also building a reactor. We may see a swap here and then transitioning into very heavy Hellions with that all-important blue flame research. However, we are getting Zerglings, which will morph into banelings, as we see that banelings nest, and we also see some roaches, and a large number of them making their way out. One roach able to snipe down that Reaper, and even more roaches coming in from behind. It looks like the SCVs feel that something is amiss. Hopefully I use that word right, and something is wrong here, as the banelings are going to simply just try to charge their way inside this space. So the Zergling going to get toasted on the front door, and now back off. There are 10 roaches now. Zergling's going to test once more. Zeno has to be careful, losing a lot of Zerglings needlessly, as the roaches now simply going to walk in. Front door engineering bay being established. Bunkers, banelings, both sides attacking. And as the SCVs are going to try to repair, but that's going to be a lot of dead SCVs. Very nicely done, as Zeno was simply going to walk inside this base and perhaps deal that necessary damage. There is a Hellion up over here. A baneling may try to perhaps take down some of these supply depots, as the banelings are just holding off here, and now perhaps going to capture some of these SCVs. There are a couple mules there. There goes one, but not a very good trade at all. There is still one baneling. Zergling still trying to come in. That front door is now starting to take a lot of damage. That one supply depot has gone down, as the Marines SCVs still battling it out. One siege tank very well protected. A second siege tank now continuing to fight back against so many roaches. Zeno is losing his attack force here, but the damage may already be dealt. 20 SCVs. SCVs still getting destroyed. It looks like the roaches are now trying to focus fire down the last siege tank. No more siege tanks. Zerglings still swarming in. A front door supply depot trying to be added. It looks like it won't be done, as the SCVs continuing to fight back. Zergling's going to turn around, take down more Marines. Everything down here will be destroyed, as a supply depot now being re-established. Engineering bay will get taken out. It looks like these supply depots may go down as well. And Kaz being very careful. Marines now making their way over, and we'll see what's going to be happening. These supply depots are all ripe for the taking, as banelings are now still being morphed in. Zerglings taking down these depots. Marines may try to shoot at them from the high ground. It looks like one will be lost, but Kaz may end up being supply blocked eventually, as he does have plenty of room to maneuver with his food. Zerglings forcing the orbital command to lift off once more. He can triple train SCVs, as the Zerglings have got to be careful, and now going to once again try to test that front door. There are banelings in this group. The banelings are going to simply walk in. Are they going to be able to deal any damage, taking down some of these supply depots, taking them both down? And now this front door is completely wide open once more. The supply depots need to be re-established. Zerglings picking apart the supply depots on the low ground. Shouldn't there be like a crater after a burrowed supply depot gets destroyed? You know, you'd think so, but no, apparently it doesn't quite work that way, as we now see a second supply depot will be added. Now, Kaz at this point is supply blocked. He has 3 orbital commands, and I believe only 1 or perhaps 2 supply depots. Actually, perhaps no supply depots at this stage. All of them being destroyed, as we now see the orbital command going to try to be re-established. The Zerglings did perhaps spot, yes, they did spot this orbital command here, as the Zerglings now trying to figure out what they can do. There was a siege tank up on the high ground. Marines are going to clean this up, as Zeno now following this up with a 3rd base. Zeno also has a macro hatch being established. He will be running off of 4 bases. No extractors just quite yet, as there will be a delay in Mutalisk, since there was that very strong attack. We'll see the Spire is now being established. No extractors here at all, as we are sitting on a fair amount of gas for the Zerg. 600 gas right now. The Spire does take quite some time to build, so we should be somewhere in the realm of 1200 gas by the time Zeno is done, unless he starts spending it on some other research, getting some overseers, and getting the movement speed upgrades. It looks as though drones will be transitioning over to the 3rd base now. it is a little bit premature. The drones are gonna perhaps do 1 to 2 trips back to this far hatchery, or excuse me, this hatchery here, as we are still getting a decent amount of injects and going into very heavy Zergling play. An Overseer has made its way over. He sees that Kaz is building up more units. Kaz already back up to 6 mules, 34 SCVs, very strong. However, just now getting his stim pack, combat shield, and level 1 weapons upgrade. Zerglings still swarming across the map. Zeno having a 30 food advantage at this time, now getting about to 1200 gas, as I mentioned, as he is mining off of 24 mineral patches now. He is going to be more mineral locked than gas locked, surprisingly, as he is now already training up to 10, 11. Perhaps we will get that magic 12 Mutalisk, as I imagine there would be. Predictions and study of StarCraft math for the win. Okay, 13. You know, close enough. A baker's dozen. Now, Marines going to be positioned here. They do not have level 1 weapons upgrade at all. The Mutalisks, however, do not have any upgrades either. And this is where I believe Zeno will just be placing down pressure. If he can place pressure and deny... Oh, Hellions going to end up getting surrounded. The Mutalisks going after those Hellions. Mutalisks are not going to be able to chase. Missile turrets need to be established. And what these Mutalisks are going to do is it's going to confine the Terran inside his base. The missile turret taking a lot of damage so far. It looks like one Mutalisk does get taken out in exchange for a missile turret. More reactored Marines going to be trained, as well as the Marines going after those Mutalisks pretty easily. It's going to force Kaz to stay inside his base. This third base is trying to be established, but no, Kaz decides against it, knowing that it would just simply be a fool's adventure trying to take more of the map at this point in time. There are missile turrets around. The Marines do have 1-0 upgrades, increasing their damage very, very significantly. You can see that there are a lot of Zerglings now outside this front door, a 50 food advantage. Harvester count 69 to 47, so the army count about, what, 3,000 to 4,000 resources higher, and now in comes the engagement. Zerglings, Banelings now trying to roll in the Banelings. Will they find their targets? SCVs are engaging as well. Mutalisks, Banelings finding their targets there, and now pulling back. I believe workers were killed, though, and that is a heavy, heavy loss as the game goes long. Zeno dealing damage to the economy of Kaz, all simply by luck, catching many of those units in transit. Mutalisks now going after the Hellions here. Banelings are now going to try to make their way in. The Marines being forced to pull back. Banelings are being detonated, not quite faster than Marines off of creep, as the Banelings getting destroyed one at a time. Zerglings now coming in again. Banelings going to find a couple of those targets. Mutalisks now trying to finish off the rest of the Marines, deciding to back off, does not want to engage, and there they pull away. It looks as though the Zergling did not get underneath that orbital command. Kaz doing a good job taking that third base, as the Marines are now all going to get up onto that high ground. Nicely played, as an Overlord does get shot down. This hatchery has been spotted by the Marine at the Zelnaga Tower. We'll see what these Mutalisks are going to do. Now attacking the main base, the Marines having a very, very long trek, trying to run all the way back inside the main production. Reactors will be destroyed, taking down a lot of the production value, and trying to replace those reactors and essentially makes it even more difficult, as Marines are going to be lost. Zerglings now pecking away at these backdoor rocks. The rocks look like they will fall, but there is a siege tank in position. Marines and Mutalisks going to engage, but the missile turret is there as well. What is going to happen? The Zerglings could push in here, but the Marines are back in a defensive posture, as we now see another expansion placed down by Zeno. So Zeno really hoping that his early aggression pays off. He does have an advantage right now, but EmipreKas can still get back in this game if Zeno is not careful with these Mutalisks. Once these Mutalisks are gone, the majority of his army would be taken out. You can see that there's 4,000 resources, but 17 of the 4,000 is in these Mutalisks, and then also 1,700 gas, and he cannot engage like that. That was not a good trade. But there are no Marines here, so the Mutalisks deciding to just try to trade and perhaps using their overwhelming numbers to deal the damage. More damage still being dealt. It looks like the barracks is going to start to burn. The Marines taking some damage from the glaive worms. That barracks down to 120 hit points there, as it is now finally being repaired by some SCVs. Zeno now up to a 60 food advantage, a 30 drone or 30 worker advantage, as Kaz desperately trying to upgrade his units, soon to be 2 or will be 2-2 if the game does go long enough. Banelings, Zerglings, Mutalisk once again just pushing pressure inside here. A very difficult walk to try to get inside this base as the barracks are slowly getting destroyed. The Marines trying to make their way over. It looks like the barracks will get taken down unless it is repaired. It doesn't look like it will be repaired in time, as now Zeno getting up to that 200 food count. Zeno, although he doesn't have very good creep spread, still has very strong map control, as he does have this base here at the 5 o'clock starting location. Drones being transferred will have decent saturation as Zerglings now trying to push their way in. The missile turret is nearby, and now the orbital command taking a lot of damage, but it is being repaired by SCVs. SCVs able to repair it, Marines able to push this attack back as the missile turrets dealing a lot of damage to those Mutalisks. And now everything is backing off once more. We'll see what Kaz is going to do. Zeno is now starting to build up a bank of resources inside his base. He is taking to tier 3, getting the pathogen glands, as fungal growth is going to just cause havoc here as the Thor is now moving out. 2 Thors dealing a lot of splash damage as the Zerglings and Banelings perhaps going to get a decent surround here. Mutalisk going straight after those Thors, able to take down 1 Thor very easily, taking down a 2nd Thor, and Kaz now pretty much losing his entire army while trying to establish this gold mineral patch on the north side of the map. You can see that the command center, soon to be a planetary fortress if it ever reaches there, and will be pushed back as the command center is now already being attacked by Mutalisks. The command center does move very slowly. The Marines now need to make their way over to perhaps try to offer some support. The Marines unable to get there able to get there in time, but not able to actually deal damage to these Mutalisks. You can see another missile turret being destroyed here, as now the Mutalisk is going to be going after a new missile turret has been established. And now what is going to be happening here? Going after supply depots, dealing damage that will quickly burn down, as we are now almost back up to a 200 food count army. Kaz is sitting on a large amount of gas. He should be able to produce more Thors, also getting in some Vikings as well, as SCVs are getting slaughtered before the command center gets there. Marines are now trying to fight back. Zergling's going to swarm in here, perhaps catch some of these units out of position. The missile turret is dealing damage. Siege tank does get taken down. Even more siege tanks. The Zergling swarm, unrelenting. Zeno looks like he will be able to take this position back and deny Kaz another base, perhaps destroying this command center here. You can see mules are being thrown down, as Zeno does have another base to transfer more drones into, and there is the GG. So Zeno, after a very aggressive 9 Roach baneling push, able to put Kaz behind. Kaz doing a great job macroing up, making sure that his exchanges were all very good. If you take a look at the total losses, Zeno was actually behind, or actually lost more units by about 4,000 resources, but Zeno knew that he could exchange and lose more resources in every battle because he had a stronger economy. Therefore the Zerg macro engine unable to be stopped by the Terran this time, now forcing a game 5 in this series. Stay tuned for game 5 in what I now know to be a best of 5 series between LiquidZenio and EmipreKas.